In the world of reboots and remakes, there aren't many that I'm a fan of. But when I saw that Anaconda was being re-envisioned with Jack Black, Paul Rudd, Steve Zahn, and Thandiwe Newton, I was instantly intrigued. So is this remoot worth watching? A group of friends is going through a midlife crisis, but when they decide to remake a favorite movie from their youth, they encounter unexpected events once they enter the jungle. So the entire premise of this is that it's a self-aware comedy that uses the nostalgic yearnings of childhood friends who come together to reshoot one of their favorite action movies, Anaconda. This is full of references to the original that starred Ice Cube, J-Lo, and Jon Voight, but this time wrangles the talents of Jack Black, Paul Rudd, Thandiwe Newton, Steve Zahn, Daniela Melchior, Stelton Mallow, and Ione Skye. Now, so the huge question surrounding this movie is, should it even exist? Quick answer? Absolutely not. This is an overlong attempt at huge laughs and slapstick, and it should have been a no-brainer with the comedic talent of the cast. But what we end up getting in the end is a confused and convoluted story arc that's overpacked with tangents and unnecessary elements that end up detracting from the central premise of these lifelong friends going on the adventure of a lifetime. Now, Jack Black is his typical larger-than-life self, leaning into his knack for physical comedy and musical talents. And the man has basically no shame, which tends to work when silliness is called for. Now, to his credit, Black is the central figure in probably the movie's funniest sequence. It involves a foot chase, a giant snake, a squirrel, and a pig. Now, if you've not seen the trailer, this makes no sense, but it's visual comedic gold, especially in the latter half of the scene, because while it is a crazy scenario just to begin with, it becomes even more maniacally frenzied and hilarious. Now, Black is also most of the heart for this film. His character is the one with the most to lose, so his risks and challenges feel more tangible and relatable. I mean, that is for a movie about finding a gigantic snake in the middle of the Amazon. And there are some times when I think Jack Black is just trying a bit too hard to elicit the laughs. And maybe that's because he could feel the lack of humor in some of the scenes and was just attempting to liven things up in a way that he excels. But it comes across as forced, then unfunny. Paul Rudd delivers his snide sarcasm that's mixed with a charming smile, but because of the way that his character is written, he certainly comes across as the most selfish and self-absorbed of the friend group. His intentions at heart make sense, and they do help to make him more endearing, but he also spends portions of the movie kind of angry, which then brings down the entire lighthearted and absurd mood that the movie is striving to create. But there are some moments when he gets to fully embrace the cheese, and he does it with abandon. Just like Black, he has no shame and will pretty much do anything for a laugh. And when the script hands him something good, he nails it. Thandiwe Newton is the most underused of the quartet, and also the one who's relegated to be the most mature and then buttoned down. Now, I loved her dynamic with the others because she could certainly hold her own when it came to discarding caution and then just going after something silly for a laugh. I would have appreciated her character getting more to do within the plot, but she's never bad in the role, and she maximizes what she can with the script material that she is provided. Then we have Steve Zahn. Now, he is playing a character that we've seen more than once from him, but as the somewhat dim but kind-hearted and eager-to-please friend, he's the perfect choice. And just about every time Zahn is given the punchline, he nails it. That's not to say that the writing is always on his side, but he does what he can and it over-emotes in all of the right ways. There's this sequence when he's called upon to do something ridiculous and gross, but he also has a phobia. Zahn convincingly creates the facial expressions and hesitant body movements that just sell the scene, even though it's also drawn out for too long. And again, it's not the actor's fault. I don't think Zahn does anything novel or fresh with his performance, but he is extremely funny, especially when delivering some soft asides that are almost just for us as the audience supposed to hear. Then we have Daniela Melchior. I have zero clue why she's in this movie. Her story arc is the most forced and shoehorned plotline that I have seen in quite a while. It has nothing to do with the actress or her abilities. She's barely given anything, but it's the whole storyline that's useless. I mean, her character is included to get us to a certain stress point of conflict between some of the friends, but this could have been accomplished without the massive side plot that her character introduces. And talk about a time waster. I mean, it doesn't add anything to the story other than time. And then it's inconsequential to everything. She's abruptly inserted at the very beginning of the film and then just kind of disappears with the whole narrative, forgetting about her moving forward. Now, I was seriously trying to figure out what her inclusion had to do with these four friends tracking down a snake so that they can make their movie. There wasn't a reason. But despite that, there is a standout in the cast too. And at first, this character wasn't hooking me. But as we went along, the absurdity of the performance made the character a necessity for both camaraderie and engagement. Sultan Mello plays Santiago, the snake wrangler who is hired to help the friends with their movie. Now, this dude is quirky, more than slightly off, and then emotionally unstable in all of the best ways. His dynamic with the rest of the cast, it is massively enjoyable because, just like the others, he fully commits to the role and then embraces the kooky aspect of his character, going all in for all of the laughs. Now, if we're just to have a story about the friends remaking the Snake movie, it probably would have worked. But because we have that random side story that goes nowhere and then some plot pieces that just feel all jumbled together, the tone and the pacing for this become wildly uneven and then boring in quite a few places. And I wasn't looking for non-stop laughs, but there were large stretches when things were just dull to watch. The dialogue was rote and uninteresting, sometimes diving into movie industry speak just to make the whole thing seem more connected to the movie-making process. And for a story that's only 99 minutes, this felt way longer. There are repetitive scenes and sequences of exposition that just drag on, reducing both the comedic and action effects on the storytelling. And when the jokes land, they can be gutbusters, but they don't hit that mark too often. There's still some good comedy, and the action sequences are exciting and energetic, especially when we get to watch the massive snake on the prowl. And this movie started out showing us that it knew what it was and was going to use that self-awareness to bring about a massive helping of laughs and thrills. Somewhere in the middle, though, of the writing, the plot got lost and then became overly complex for its own good, leaving us with an unfulfilled promise of ridiculous fun in favor of over-dramatized and disjointed plot progressions. Now, this might be fine once it hits a streaming platform, but paying full price at the theater, that's not worth it. And when you do see this, you may want to stick around for the mid-credits scene. Now, there's no sex or nudity, a ton of profanity, and then a bunch of violence. I give Anaconda 2.5 out of 5 couches. Do you have any favorite animal-themed action or horror movies? Velocipastor, that tops my list, if we're going to go the silly route. But let me know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.